All right, I got to get you on the record for this. I'm putting you on the spot.
Let's do it.
I know you watch a lot of smaller conference basketball,
Uh,
as do I. It's one of my guiltiest pleasures, right up there with like a latte. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Um, just nothing beats just having a good presidential biography and a nice hot cup of latte.
Good Lord.
Give me, I'll say 4 teams. Give me 4 teams that you like that will probably, I mean, are very likely to make the NCAA tournament if things go as planned, that you think are primed to be upset minded teams in March.
I mean, does Loyola Chicago even count at this point? I mean, they're
I'm going to allow it.
okay. They're a top 25 team. They've got the pedigree. Cameron Krutwig is still there. Sister Jean
He's
is
like
still
47
there.
years old. Yep.
Still, throwing those two-headed chest bounce passes that just make the ladies go crazy, wobbly in the knees. Like he's still doing his thing. They're fantastic. The advanced metrics love them. But that's the thing with Loyola. They're probably going to be a better seed in this tournament than they were the year they made the Final Four when they were, an 11 seed and knocked off Miami, knocked off all those teams on that run. Like it would be less of a surprise this year if they made the Final Four than it was a few seasons ago. They're fantastic. I think that I think they get the auto bid, and I think Drake is going to kind of get left out of the NCAA tournament. Their computer numbers aren't great.
Don't do that. Don't put that in the atmosphere. You're probably right, but just
I'm telling you, brace yourself. I mean, they're like 88th in the net. They've got to take one of two from Loyola this weekend. They're going to play, I think, Saturday, Sunday. If they get swept, which is very likely because I think Loyola is just better than they are. Drake is. They got to win Arch Madness to get in. I know. Speaking, what would be even more sad, Belmont is 20-1 right now. Their computer rankings are also bad. If they somehow get beaten the OBC, which has a history of teams having gaudy records going into that tournament and getting bounced in the title game or in the semifinals, they could. I mean, we could have like a 26-2 Belmont team getting left out of the NCAA tournament, which would be awful. If they do get in, though, another team with the pedigree, they get it done. Casey Alexander is fantastic as a head coach. I think they could definitely win a game or two. Furman out of the SoCon, maybe.
I like Furman.
They beat UNCG pretty bad. Those were the two teams going into the season that everybody thought were going to dominate that conference. UNCG has been a little bit down. Furman probably a little bit down too, at least relative to their preseason expectations. They're coming around. I think they could be really good. I like both Irvine and UCSB in the Big West. I think one of those two teams could win. And then, again, Colgate probably doesn't count. They're like 13th in the net. That wouldn't be an upset at this point if they did beat somebody.
They're going to get a 3 seed.
They're a good team out of the Patriot League. But I know I'm just throwing out teams. I'll say for my fourth and final team, I'll stick with UC Irvine. They've been really good in recent years. They could get it done again. It would be their second tournament win the last 3 chances.
Yeah, they're a thorn in people's sides. I'm disappointed that New Mexico State has had such a weird season because I thought they would be a pretty decent team.
They can't practice in their state.
I know. It's not good. It's not an ideal situation. I got one more I'll throw out to you because those are pretty much all the teams that I would mention. I'm going to throw out one more, though. 2. I like Western Kentucky. I still think that they could surprise someone if Hollingsworth gets hot and Bassey just does his normal Bassey stuff. I don't trust them at all. I assume they're going to blow it in the conference tournament. But if they do get in, you would think that they would be like a 5-12 type game, maybe a 6-11 matchup. And that means that they get to play a team like Clemson or just a team like Wisconsin that just does nothing for me. And I think they can win that game. And then I have been a huge fan of theirs all season, Winthrop. I think Winthrop plays a style that is going to be a real problem for certain teams. If they play, again, I'll go back to Clemson and Wisconsin, teams like that play a little bit more of that plotting half-court crap that's not fun to watch at all. I think they can beat them. Because I think they've got a 6'7", 6'8" point guard in Vaudrin. They've got a big man. They've got a team that plays like 10, 11, 12 guys. they immediately go on fast break. They initiate their offense. Like in the first 5 seconds of having possession, someone is driving, and it doesn't have to be Vaudrin. I think they're a good enough shooting team. I feel like and they'll probably be in that 4-13, 5-12, somewhere in there, maybe 3-14. They're going to play a Tennessee or someone like that is just fully not prepared for a matchup like that and gets run. Like Winthrop strikes me as a team that is not going to win on a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Like they're going to win a 4-13 game by like 15 points.
They have the makeup of every team that wins those types of games.
Yes.
I mean, historically, the plotting kind of possession-based teams that are Cinderellas have not had a whole lot of success in the NCAA tournament. The ones that get up and down, push pace, and can knock down 15 threes in a game are the ones that spring the upset. The one other team that we both should shamefully be upset about the fact that we didn't mention, Toledo is really, really good.
Yes, yeah, good call. There's a funny little tidbit that I've spent a lot of time around your alma mater lately doing volleyball and lacrosse and also wrestling, all sorts of different stuff in addition to basketball. But Bellermane, because of the transition rule, unless the NCAA decides to give transition schools a waiver to potentially qualify for the postseason this year and then have a couple more years of transition, they could play North Alabama in the championship game of the A-Sun, which would mean that unless they change the rules, the A-Sun would have to have a third place consolation game to find a team to send to the NCAA tournament. I cannot think of something more pandemic than that.
Well, it's happened in conference tournaments the last couple of years with transition schools where they've said, because there was a game, I can't remember off the top of my head which league it was, but there was a game where a transitioning school was in the title game, and if it won, the other team was still going to get to go to the NCAA tournament. I think it was a MEAC school, but
Bellermane,
God, I mean, it's such a stupid rule, and I wish they would just get rid of it. I think that maybe Mike Bray, do something. You're head of the coaches committee. Like, make a rule change here. Let's knock a couple of years off at least. But Bellermane also, if there is an NIT this year, and Bellermane wins the regular season title in the Atlantic Sun, which is very possible right now. They're tied with Liberty atop the standings. They could go play in the NIT, which is a cool thing. And if they win that conference tournament but don't win the regular season title, they also could go play in the NIT. So that would be – I know that the NIT is laughed at, but for a program like Bellermane in its first year in D1 to make a historically prestigious tournament it would be incredible.
Yeah. Geez, talk about – rooting for Cain versus Abel in the Bellermane and Liberty contest. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully no one is offended by me saying that.